All right,
Wonder if
let's
they're
go.
gonna announce anything worthwhile. You know, like the next Mario Kart game. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Toku Portal Podcast. Um, I have Ashley V, and joining me today is
Rye. Welcome to the show where the secret villain trolls the heroes and us. How did neither of us think of that? How was our first
um.
assumption not that he's bullshitting about being God?
I mean, to be fair, it self-proclaimed. We did preface it with self-proclaimed.
Right.
Um. Also, this is for Kikai Sentai Zenkaiger.
Episode
I ca-
46.
yeah, I glanced over that. The fact that none of them called bullshit at the end of the episode for the most obvious of reasons.
I mean, if you
Because
ever.
for exactly what happens in this episode, granted they are unaware of it, is exactly why they should have called bullshit.
Uh, if you've ever wondered how the heroes just so willingly believe the villain, it's what happened to us.
I mean, to be fair, when this all happened and came out, is like we let's be real, we were both skeptical.
Right.
Like we were running along like in my particular instance. I still hold the fact that maybe he just found a way to do all of this. He's not a god. He just did this. Toji Tendo shut up and fucked it all up. Given what we know for Dawn Brothers, or at least rumored for Dawn Brothers. So, in my head, it was still bullshit and just self claimed.
But grounded in plausibility.
In a manner of speaking. Like there's legitimacy to the claim in the way it is in my head, but it's not legit. If that makes sense.
Right. So, picking up where the conversation left off, Gage, possessing Stacy, is claiming to be God. Or at least a god that created all the worlds. They don't believe him, they're skeptical, except for Kaido, who seems to be bothered by something else. So he decides to prove it to them with a revelation. The next world that will appear will be Careworld. Come the following day, Careworld appears. And
Sorry, I just read something entirely unrelated to this.
you want to take a second to talk about it, or?
Yes.
All right.
So what sparked this is I saw this the other day. This is a news story from Florida, and this is what reminded me.
What is that?
This is Sonic Petering's G Fuel.
I did not know that existed.
Oh my god, it tastes amazing.
It sounds good.
It reminded me that I saw a story the other day that I didn't read into. I just saw the headline. Florida man tries to rob a bank while wearing a Sonic the Hedgehog mask.
I saw that news article on my phone earlier. Fails to rob a bank is what the headline I read said.
On this one, it just says tries.
Let me.
Uh, yeah, a Florida man in a Sonic the Hedgehog mask tried to rob a bank with a hammer. Um, Police were dispatched to respond to an armed robber. The robber was armed with a hammer. According to police, the man in a Sonic mask approached the bank teller with a hammer in hand to demand money. Witnesses told the police the individual appeared to be a male by the sound of their voice and apparently struck the window repeatedly while demanding for cash.
How does this hold up to the guy that tried to rob a GameStop with a see-through mask on?
It's Florida, so Florida gets the win.
No, they were both in Florida.
Oh, they were both in Florida? All yours reminds me of is that goddamn Snickers commercial.
What Snickers commercial is that?
There's a commercial for Snickers where a group of guys goes and robs an armored car, and they've got on their stocking masks,
Okay.
and one of the guys has fishnet.
Oh, that's stupid. Okay.
Anyways, back to this stupid.
Alright, back to Zenkaiger. Careworld shows up and he's turning people into carrots. And when he hits Kaido with it, his suit turns red.
Nice of him to use that suit again.
Yeah, get some use out of it. They went through the effort of making it.
I'm not happy that's how the suit got made.
Yeah, when I saw it in the next episode preview, I got my expectations up higher than I should have. Not, like, I could tell those, alright, that's clearly Kaito, but what's the circumstances here? Oh, it's just that.
Yeah, like, I expected him to just use the gear. Because he does physically have that gear. Let's not forget, that gear is real.
It didn't disappear?
No. At least if my memory serves me correct, but, that was like 20-some-odd episodes in a movie ago.
Yeah, basically a year ago.
This show is really good at getting your hopes up from the preview and having them, mildly dashed. Because my hopes got up for a different reason for this episode.
So, it's Careworld, and it's fucking Careworld. So, he goes down like a bitch.
Do you want to know what I expected?
What did you expect?
Given that this show has made references to various other things, not just their own particular property, I half expected Careworld to be destroyed by shooting him into the moon. The same way Master Carrot was, taken care of in Dragon Ball. Because that's all I could think of was Master Carrot.
And
because powers were the same.
And so the Magfight goes by equally fast.
Because it is relevant to this episode, there's one thing I forgot to mention with last week's episode. The guy who got hit by a car last week? In the gold jacket?
No.
He's one of the just random characters who got hit with the bad luck. That's Zox's suit actor.
Oh, that's cool.
Rooms is in this episode.
What's he do?
He's the one Stacy jumps into.
Ah.
The one on the date.
So, Kaido's problem with Gage possessing Stacy's body is that Stacy didn't give him permission to do this. And if that's how he's going to play, then Kaido can't trust him. So if he wants to interact with them, Kaido gives him permission to use his body. And the other Kikanoi step up and volunteer as well. Like, yeah, we'll give you permission to use any of us. Be reasonable.
Congratulations, we're back to having the dumbest team on the planet again. Hey, here's a guy who can jump into bodies and we don't trust him. Let's have him jump into ours.
Well, it was a test of trust of like, hey, if he refuses and keeps using Stacy's body without permission, then you can't trust him. But if he cooperates and uses one of ours, then we can talk.
But in my head, all I have is exactly what's rumored for next season. In my head is like, well, of course that's how that happens.
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
100% the entire.
We don't
You
know.
said I could do it.
We don't know if he actually can though or not. We don't know if he can do humans or if he can only do mechanical life forms.
Well, based on what we've been, what the rumor says.
Actually, no. Wait, he did do a human. Vroom's suit actor.
Yeah.
So never mind.
Yeah, that was confirmed this episode. Yeah, I've that spaced my head too. My brain went, Vroom's a geekanoid. Ignored the suit actor part of it.
It went over my head that he possessed a human. Okay, so complying, sort of, he releases Stacy's body. Back at Toji Tendo, the generals are having a meeting about how the world last week just fucking disappeared in the middle of the mech fight. Just up and vanished.
At least they're talking about it.
Right. And so now you've got you've got traders and you've got Inside Man, this whole operation is falling apart.
You've got Barish Tara, going, hey, Gage.
Do you know anything about this? How dare you accuse my Gage of something like this? No, I was just asking if he knew anything. And
I give Barish Tara credit for, figuring shit out. Or rather, piecing things together.
And before he left them, Gage had told the Zenkaigers, how about another prediction? Sapphire World and Batworld. So here, he turns to Bucko. It's hey, I have some new soldier ideas I'd like to deploy. Oh, it was Careworld last time, right? What will it be this time? And he just starts listing off other food. No. Sapphire and Bat. So yeah, the whole God thing is just a con.
Right, and it shouldn't be that hard. I mean, in defense, I will give them credit. They don't know who's in Stacy's body.
Right.
They're unaware that it's Gage.
As far as they know, it's actually God.
It's just somebody who hates Toji Tendo, who's claiming to be God. So I can't fault them for accepting it, but given the fact that we get, we know what's up, in my head I'm like, you're not running into the possibility of maybe he's just going and asking for these things? Because in my head, that's exactly what's happening. He's just going to go, by the way, it's going to be this and this. Hey, you should send these two. I mean, that's the legitimacy of it. And in my head, I'm like, because I have all of this extra data, I run into the same issue a lot of people have with D&D. Is I can't separate my knowledge from their knowledge. So I'm like, you guys are idiots.
For not knowing this thing that I know.
That only I know.
This audience information.
There are times I have a hard time taking and separating the two.
So, Kaido and Stacy have a little heart-to-heart, sort of, almost. Kaido explains to Stacy that he's been being possessed, and Stacy understands, oh, that's what's been going on with me.
That explains a lot.
And Kaido opens up to him.
It's why he keeps waking up in rooms with music videos of himself playing.
Hey, thank you for helping with my dad. No, don't mention it. No, really. He was your only friend, right? You don't have to go back there. You don't have to keep putting up with all that. You're too nice of a guy for that.
And Stacy does it. His normal bite me.
He doesn't think he deserves happiness.
I think it's between that and he's just so used to just shoving people away.
Right.
That it's more just out of habit. Because let's be real, he did the same thing when he subconsciously walked to Wonderful. or colorful, is he went, wait a minute, and then left because, like he says, like he doesn't feel he deserves it. It's gonna be interesting to see if that actually gets resolved by the end of this show. Like, I hope it does, and given the rumors that we have for next season, I don't want much of this to carry over into next season.
Right, like finish the story you're telling here, and just have some elements carry over into the next one. But finish this story first, because this is the only story we've gotten. Finish it.
Don't make us wait another 40 episodes to get the end of this.
The next day, Sapphire World attacks, and he makes people crave jewelry, specifically sapphires. Because he's not a... What's up?
Sorry, I had a thought for Dawn Brothers.
We can get to that later.
Yeah.
Because sapphires aren't as hard as diamonds, and they've already taken care of Diamond World, Sapphire World is kind of just easy for them. Like, yeah, we've already been through a tougher version of this fight.
I will admit it was fun to watch Vroom run around with a pickaxe going, I need to mine.
Don't mine at night.
Don't get straight down.
So yeah, Kaido just solos the monster, both on the ground and in the mech fight.
Oh, speaking of because I forgot that this was a thing. My god, do I love his finisher.
The basically rider kick.
Yeah, the fucking rider kick.
So now all the Kikai Noids, except for Juren, are convinced that they really have met God. But Juren's like, no, this could still be a coincidence.
I like the phrase that they chose for him.
Even a clock is right that much.
Even a broken clock is right twice. I like it because it feels something, an older gentleman would say. Like, there are points where, like, in the show did a good job of, like, blending the line with it, of acknowledging the fact that he's older than the rest of them, but also not making it matter. To where it was easy to forget that he's the oldest one there.
Checking in with the pirates. They have access to Estitopia, but that doesn't mean they have the cure. They're kind of stumped. Deciding that they shouldn't be aggravating over it, Flynn figures, well, why don't we visit some worlds and, take a break from this and come back to it with a new perspective. Opens up the map. Wait, when did Pirate World get liberated? Oh, damn, I wish we could have seen that one.
I like the fact that Zox looks both annoyed and worried.
It's like, wait, hold on a second. SD World and then Pirate World. Something suspicious is going on here. It's almost too convenient for us.
And this is what baited me for this episode. Because in preview we see Zox, I'm like, yes, he's back.
He's not back yet, really but they've decided we should go back and see what's going on.
Because it's one of those things, we've got time, this is going to take a while. Let's kill some time and have some fun.
Meanwhile, Gage is possessing the bodies of random people so that Kaido doesn't get mad at him for taking over bodies, to send Kikai Noids back home. Presumably back to Kikaitopia, but you don't actually.
My assumption.
We don't know. We don't have actual confirmation on it, but it would be the most consistent. It seems like he's trying to send everyone back to where they belong. hence freeing Pirate World so that they can return there.
Like, in my head, I want to take Gages at face value with this. But again, I can't, given the rumors.
Like, he definitely has an ulterior motive, but he does seem to be genuinely trying to undo everything that the Tochi Tendo has been working on.
Right. Like, he's very much undermining it, and that's fantastic. It's just seeing how it plays out can be the problematic part. Especially given the rumors we have for next season.
At Colorful, Kaito asks Yatsude, hey, if he agrees to it, do you think Satoshi could stay with us for a while? He's been going through a lot of rough stuff, and by himself. I know it'd be a lot, but she's like, of course he can stay. Look at how many people already live here. That's clearly not an issue for us.
Like that was a very touching moment. That Kaito's willing to go that length.
You invite him the next time you see him.
Make sure he brings his coupon. Like, and this is the point, is like where they show that as much as Kaito has changed, he's still that same. I just want to help.
Right.
Because it's what he did with, the rest of the Zenkaigers are going, well, crap, y'all don't have any place to stay.
He's a lot less naive than when he started.
Right. It's like, but he's still just as hopeful.
And then Batworld attacks. He's turning people into, like, pseudo-vampires and making them fight each other or something. I don't know.
I give Toei credit for not trying to do the, typical Russian, I want to suck your blood. That didn't stop him from making that joke.
The Zenkaigers are able to body him as well. This time, though, it's because they came in prepared with Sentai gear already in use, specifically to counter what they suspected Batworld would be capable of. And knowing that his usual tactics won't work, Batworld decides, alright, then I'll have to use this bat instead. Baseball bat with nails in it.
So when I saw that in the preview, in my head, my brain registered that as like some Sentai power. So like in my head, I was trying to figure out what it could be, because for the life of me, nothing makes sense outside of Akiba Ranger. But now to watch him, my favorite part of that was watching them just drag him off the wall.
So this time, Magfight goes by quickly as well, and we got a nice little showcase of the three mechs, the three base mechs.
I'm still amazed we haven't gotten an all-together mech.
That's technically...
Like the standard, but yeah, I realize that technically that's what would normally constitute the normal mech.
Right.
Is what our all-together mech is.
And the all-together doesn't always include the extra member, so...
Yeah, that's fair. Usually it does. Nothing beats Kira Majors. Oh yeah, speaking of the Jolly Ranchers, you did.
Oh yeah, they made a cameo in Sapphire World's appearance when during the mech fight. Yep.
Like they cameoed over. I'm like, Jolly Rancher.
Yeah.
I got looked at funny at work for that.
Just randomly shouting Jolly Rancher while looking at your phone.
Yes. And no, I didn't bother explaining it.
So, Gage possesses Gowon's body at first and then switches to Vroom to show, like, see, I'm doing what you said and I'm using your bodies. I'll just rotate around. And at this point, everyone's pretty convinced. It's like, yeah, okay, you were right about the different worlds coming. Maybe we can trust you. So why don't we do it? Let's go defeat Toji Tendo. Meanwhile, at Toji Tendo, Barashitara speaks bluntly to Bakuas, like, it's pretty clear that our plans are being leaked to the Zenkaigers. I don't know who's behind it, but there's a spy. And Bakuas is getting really upset. Like, alright, this backwater planet is starting to vex me. Time to show what I can do. Ijirude, do the thing.
That preview looks awesome, by the way.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good one.
Like, I get that 90% of this episode was, hey, have fun. Also, let's slow, a little tip into, the next, or the last, what, 3 episodes now?
3 episodes. Because we're going to 49 here.
But given the feel of the majority of this episode, it doesn't feel like we're that far along. Like, for the feel of this episode specifically. Like, this, outside of the stuff with Stacy and Gage and the Toji Tendo side of it, this just feels like it's had like halfway through the series. Which isn't bad. My God, this is where I'm hoping there's enough similarities between Zenkaiger and Dawn Brothers, given the rumors. Because this is a show I very much want more of. This goofy, off the wall that can take itself seriously when it wants to and knows when to do it.
I'm ready for this show to end, but if this is any indication of the style we're going to be getting with Dawn Brothers, then I'm okay with that.
Like, given the aesthetic that we have for Dawn Brothers, yeah, this style fits. Because the aesthetics we have are drastically different.
I'm so confused about Pink.
Dude, I've seen different pictures of like the line that particular image of like them on the roof of different poses, and every single one of them he looks photoshopped.
Like, okay, I get that black is gonna be CGI'd in, and I get that Pink is probably gonna be CGI'd in suit. What's the out of suit deal for these characters?
So I'm assuming it's going to be the same thing, where they're CG'd out of suit too.
You think that the character for Pink is just gonna look that tall and lanky out of suit?
It is possible, or it's going to look more. He's going to look more like a bird.
There's a press conference in an hour and a half. I have questions.
I have questions, and I'm pretty sure they're not gonna answer.
Oh, well, they're obviously not going to give too much away. Just give me the cast lineup. That's what this is for, right? That's what this is really about.
Yes, the cast lineup and possibly the opening and ending song. Who's doing them?
At the very least.
Because usually it's because you have the press conference, then you have the premiere meeting, and the premiere meeting is before the episode airs, and that's where they actually usually perform the song. At least that's what they've done in the past. They've also done it much sooner in the past too. They didn't wait till there was 3 episodes left.
So you had some thoughts earlier. Did you want to talk about those?
I kind of forgot what it was.
We're talking about Sapphire World, and you suddenly had a revelation about Dawn Brothers.
Oh, yeah. So you remember the rumor about Stacy, specifically about Stacy,
Right.
that he would show up in Dawn Brothers as a hero.
Right. He's like supposedly he'll officially switch sides and help out.
And we also have the rumor about Gage taking over Kaito's body.
Slash being the main antagonist.
So what if this show ends with Kaito having his body taking over? And then it comes out that Stacy is Momotaro's. We know nothing about this character. All we know is he's tied to Oni World. Specifically, that the villains of that universe, and he fights them.
No. I don't think it works. Momo's his high energy just doesn't fit.
But again, this could be Stacy, quote unquote, healed, knowing what he wants as a good guy and going to get it. We've had characters switch sides and have entirely different personality.
Yeah, I don't.
It's an exceedingly unlikely.
Yeah, I don't think so.
But I would freaking love it.
That'd be a hell of a twist.
Right, like in my head, Stacy will just be essentially the sixth. In my head, that's about if that rumor is true. But I think that would be funny as hell. Because we've already had the experience of, Momotaro's, and then to find out, no, that's Stacy post events is like that. I think that would be fucking awesome. But I doubt Toei has the balls for it.
I don't think it would make sense narratively.
I'm sure they'd find a way. Look how much a Blade didn't make sense to start with.
I mean, Blade made sense to start with. It's just you didn't have the context that made it interesting.
Yeah, that's fair. Why do you?
Because if she completed the puzzle, he would fall apart or something. I don't remember.
I have seen really dumb Sentai. I've seen some really dumb writer.
But the one thing that bothers you 10 years later...
What the reason why it bothers me is because of how astronomically dumb it was. Like, I get depression as a bitch, but
he had the puzzle piece so she couldn't finish the puzzle. Because he was scared of the symbolic implications of it. Because
it makes sense. I'm not arguing that that it doesn't make sense. It just comes across as so dumb. On a side note, again, you need to watch Revice. And on a side note, a little bit of disappointedly, it's just a little bit writer versus writer right now.
I knew it.
Not one of the bad guys bullshits his way into a belt.
I mean,
he doesn't need the belt. It's part of the plan.
I had a feeling it would happen eventually, but let's see if it sticks at 1 or not.
Well, at this point, technically it's 2, because we have Kamen Rider Evil.
Yeah, but he's kind of a wild card right now, isn't he?
Yeah, that's more that he just needs to get kicked in his ass one too
Yeah.
many times
So
for him to
like,
go back.
wild card aside, let's see if actual villain riders stays at one or branches out.
So from the way it looks, and I'm going off my own speculation with this and the fact that I've watched enough Rider to not to spot the red herring. For this to happen, they essentially killed off a character. That frees up the belt. He's not really dead, so he's going to get his belt back, and or a different version of it, and destroys and breaks the other one. I
Then,
don't see this particular bad guy, given the fact that he has his own aesthetic and his own monster form. I don't see them keeping him in a rider.
or you get to X8 levels of everyone gets to be a rider.
I swear to God, if he gets to X8 level of rider, I'm gonna be fucking pissed. It's already bad enough that they introduce a new organization that is literally making me want to sing freaking what the hell is the name of the song?
What's the name of the organization?
Weekend.
I don't know what song you're thinking of.
Blinding Lights by The Weekend. Like, it's bad enough they had the idiotic name. Granted, Phoenix isn't much better. But yeah, I don't think I've heard of a dumber organization name than Weekend.
I have Foundation X.
I can buy Foundation X as a secret organization as well as I can Shocker.
It's the Foundation X is the most generic evil organization name I've ever heard.
I'm fine with that. I am fine with generic. Do you want to know why I'm fine with generic as an organization? If you want to go under the radar, what's better than generic? It doesn't stick out, doesn't bring attention. That's what you want to go with. Theoretically, if you want to do something evil as an organization, get something generic. Don't name your company Tesla. Or, Microsoft. That shit sticks out. Do something generic. Like website.
The names aren't what make them stand out, though. Like, it's how big the company is and how public they are.
Right, but in my head, I'm like, you're a secret organization and you named yourself Weekend.
That doesn't sound like a suspicious organization at all, though.
It's suspicious as shit because it's held in somebody's basement.
Okay, but how many people know that? Like
10 to 15?
Yeah, exactly. Like, this isn't something that's, like, on the general public's radar. Like, you tell me that there's an organization called Weekend, I'd go, what's their business model?
We only work on the weekend.
Or is there some kind of mean of, like, with the emphasis on, like, the end?
I think they named it initially that just so they can make the joke they made in the episode. Which was quite literally, welcome to Weekend, and the person they're talking to goes, Weekend? But it's a weekday. I swear to God, I think that's the only reason why they named it that. Just so
no, I'm pretty sure the joke came after. That's pretty low-hanging fruit. You wouldn't name an organization... You wouldn't name an organization that just make that joke. It had to be the other way around.
They named their first group Shocker because they were shocking.
Yeah. Did someone make a joke about that, though?
Zero's not here, and I swear to God we're not calling him into this to find out because we'll end up on like 8 different shows.
Like, Shocker is a great evil organization name.
I will admit it is. They just need to go away permanently. For the love of God, move on. I don't think it's going to, because
How many
everything about
how many grade leaders have they gone through by now? Like 12?
13 if you count decade.
I don't even know if I was or not. That's how many it's been.
The number of Ika Devils, and to me that was the worst part of decade. Was Ika Devil in it, or no, Professor Shinigami? I'm sorry, because you took a dude who's obviously not evil and just turned him evil for the sake of a movie and went, we're just gonna ignore that for the rest of the show.
Yeah, they did that like no less than 3 times.
But it was the worst thing when they used Natsumi-chan's dad
Uh,
or
that that
grandfather or
one
whatever he was.
that's the one that made the least amount of sense.
Like, I get what's his name turning into a member of Shocker. Fine, he ran around wanting to punch Decade in the balls the entire show. Like, fine, but turning somebody who's literally just a character that exists into a show into a member of Shocker just for the sake of turning him into a member of Shocker was dumb. Anyways, I've ranted about Ryder enough.
We're at 41 minutes, so thanks for joining us tonight, everybody, and we'll be back next week for episode 47. Only 3 episodes left.
Fully ingrained into the end game now.